we cannot allow Elon Musk and a small group of people to secretly, behind closed doors, take away our privacy, take away our dollars, take away everything we have. We are going to fight this fight. I am going to stand with you in this fight, and we will win. 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 We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest.
Straight after his Corona and guac embarrassment, Chuck Schumer continues his litany of self-humiliations, as do all the Democrats. And as they continue to make cringeworthy spectacles of themselves, Elon and Doge are uncovering corruption that is beyond belief. We just saw the biggest scandal of 2025 break right before our very eyes. Doge has uncovered the receipts that show that the Biden administration has been paying the legacy media through USAID to attack Trump and the MAGA movement and to incessantly pimp for the Democrats. You cannot make this stuff up. The latest bombshell involves Politico. Yes, Politico, that ridiculous left-wing propaganda rag. Well, now we know why it's gone so far left. We now know that Politico received over $8 million in USAID funds. As it turns out, you and I were paying for Politico to run hit pieces, daily hit pieces against Trump and the MAGA movement. For example, guess which publication was solicited by the Biden campaign to publish the 51 so-called intelligence experts claiming the Hunter Biden laptop was nothing more than Russian disinformation. Where did they go to get that published? Yep, Politico. Again, this was a classic case of the legacy media abandoning its sacred call to speak truth to power and instead began speaking the power's truth because that power was writing it checks. We now know, of course, we've got the receipts. We've got a leaked email from former CIA Director John Brennan that verifies that the 51 intelligence agents that endorsed the Hunter Biden laptop letter did it with the specific intent of enabling Biden to mislead the American public during his election campaign. The email sent out by Brennan explicitly stated to all 51 intelligence experts involved that Biden needed a talking point to push back against Trump for the upcoming debate. It was blatant election interference, and it was a lie. Now, obviously, Politico could have found that out. Obviously, Politico reporters could have probed and uncovered that this whole 51 intelligence expert fiasco was staged. It was fabricated. It wouldn't have been hard. Questions like, who coordinated these 51 so-called intelligence experts? Isn't it interesting that they all seem to have these past anti-Trump statements and sentiments in common? If John Brennan coordinated this, what does he know about the laptop? It's in the FBI's custody. He's in the CIA. When did he learn it? How did he learn it? From whom? They could have done that. Politico could have done actual reporting, actual journalism. But no, that's not what the legacy media is about. That's not what they were about in the 2020 election, and it's not what they're about today. Did you see this? A reporter was caught before the Bobby Kennedy hearings with a pre-written headline on her computer. I mean, think about that. The headline was pre-written before a single word was spoken in the Senate confirmation hearings. The story, the narrative, the frame was already predetermined before the hearings even began. This is why it's so often said the legacy media is not about news, it's about narrative. They're not about news. They're about narrative. And so the entire industry has been captured by what's called confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is when one focuses on only that information that supports one's prior beliefs and values. The mainstream media deliberately ignore and suppress facts that do not conform to their woke left-wing narrative that we now are finding out was bought and paid for. That woke left-wing narrative pushes out facts and information that are threats to the liberal globalist world order that's signing them their checks. That's why even the liberal commentator turned media critic Andrew Sullivan, he's long argued now that the mainstream media isn't news, it's narrative. That's the key to understanding what's going on here. This mainstream media pushes narrative. They do not push news. Whatever events they focus on, whatever facts they put forward, always comport with the politically correct woke narrative they consider so absolute and unquestionable. And they consider it so absolute and unquestionable because we now know they have significant amount of zeros behind them given to them by the Biden administration. So the mainstream media actually believes that they are protecting themselves in the liberal globalist order that they hold together by ignoring and dismissing facts that don't fit their narrative, like the Hunter Biden laptop or the origins of the coronavirus or the Patriot uprising going on all over the world as we speak. All of these things are offensive to the politically correct woke narrative that the government has bought and paid for from them. Circling back then to Politico, obviously USAID funds have now been cut off. They're no longer privy to millions of dollars of taxpayer money. And you are not going to believe what just happened in Politico. This is going to absolutely blow your mind. But first, gang, now that Fauci has been pardoned, RFK is obviously going to unearth what most of us already knew about the pandemic. It's so sad this effort won't help the tens of millions who've never felt the same after getting the virus or the mRNA shots. We all know someone with a personal story. Pfizer's been forced to release a detailed list of side effects associated with the COVID-19 shots. And a common concern among those side effects is what's called long COVID syndrome. It's a condition that leaves people feeling brain fog and chronic fatigue and shortness of breath, lingering for months, in some cases years. Well, the good news is that the wellness company is here to help with their new long COVID syndrome support. You get 4 doctor-formulated nutraceuticals with 5 to 8 plants and minerals in each bottle designed to address the root causes. Ultimate spike detox, mind lift, elevated energy, and healthy heart. Dr. McCullough recommends a durable recovery through holistic health, with COVID syndrome support being an essential part of that. So right now, you could save $40 off on the bundle plus free shipping. Just click on that link below or head on over to twc.health/Turley and use code Turley to take action today for a healthier tomorrow. That's twc.health/Turley. Just hours after it was announced that Politico would no longer be on the USAID dole, reports were coming out that no one at Politico got paid yesterday. Now, the company sent several emails to employees blaming it on a technical error. But Benny Johnson is noting that this is suspiciously coincidental for the company to miss payroll for the first time in the company's history, just days after they were cut off from USAID funds. I think Aesthetica said it best. What we're finding out in real time is that the entire modern left is just smoke and mirrors. There's no left-wing voter base. All the elections are rigged and fake. All the liberal media outlets have no audience and are kept alive by USAID funding. All their politicians and political pundits are paid by USAID to say what the government wants. The whole thing was a house of cards. Well, it does look like this house of cards is beginning to completely collapse. The FCC has just announced that, you may have seen this, it's launching an investigation into NPR and PBS, which everyone knows the investigation is just the precursor to ending public broadcasting once and for all. It simply has no place anymore in our techno-populist world. It's not just they're highlighting their left-wing bias, which is legendary. It looks like the FCC is going to take them down with their sponsorships, which they'll be found to be illegal advertisements, which they are. I remember years ago, I ran a guitar school back in the day, my musician days. I ran a guitar school and I did some advertising on our local public radio station. They told me how to rewrite the ad script so as to get around the advertising law. It's all a ruse. They rephrase their ad scripts, but in the end, that's all they are. They're ads. They're commercial ads, and you can't have it both ways. You can't get public funding and commercial ad revenue at the same time. Moreover, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is demanding that NPR and PBS appear before their House DOJ subcommittee to answer for their systemically biased content. Again, this is all just that we all know what this is. This is just the prerequisite for the inevitable. There is no way PBS and NPR are going to survive this purge. So I'll actually probably be one of the first to go. When all is said and done, the legacy media appears to be slowly coming to the realization that their era has indeed come to an end. I mean, we've talked a lot on this channel about the rise of something called techno-populism, which involves the dynamic wherein technological innovations like the internet and cryptocurrencies and social media platforms and the like, they're all increasingly freeing populations from the establishment control of industries like the legacy media. So what's so fascinating to me is, frankly, just how blindsided the legacy media appears to be with this rising techno-populism. They clearly don't understand it. They act like nothing's wrong, right? Nothing's changing. Go about your business, right? Business as usual. All the while, their entire legacy media ship is sinking. Here's a fun fact. Newspaper circulation today is at its lowest it's been since the 1940s, 80 years ago. Let that hit you. Newspaper circulation today is at its lowest level since the 1940s, since World War II. Ratings for the legacy media are at an all-time low. Again, just for comparison, in the 1960s, 50 million people on average, okay? 50 million got their news from the three networks. Cronkite alone, he was able to pull in about 30 million. Pretty astonishing stuff. That's when our nation had a population of around 200 million. Today, our country is instead around 350 million, significantly more. And when you combine all the networks and cable news outlets, combine them all, the total viewership today is barely 20 million. Combine them all. All the network, all the cable news outlets, combine them all. They don't even get an audience that compares with Walter Cronkite alone. The legacy media has imploded. And from what Elon and DOJ just uncovered, it deserves to be buried. I want to personally invite you to an incredible live event that you won't want to miss, the America's Golden Age Summit. Mark your calendars for February 27th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's all online. We're going to explore how America is entering a new golden age filled with opportunities to thrive like never before. Now, during this powerful 90-minute event, my special guests and I will reveal some secrets for how you and your family can prosper like never before in this exciting new era. From financial strategies to building a legacy rooted in freedom and faith, this summit is designed to help you succeed. Spaces are limited, so don't wait. Register now and secure your spot today. Can't wait to see you there.